memorize it, okay? Then, make sure you complete the body of the speech first. Make sure you complete the body of the speech first. Why? Why do you want to complete the body of the speech first, Ms. Watson, before you do your introduction? Somebody help her out.
So you have an idea of like where to go?
Yeah, so you have, not only you have an idea where to go, you've already determined where you're going to go. So your introduction basically kind of like lays it out. Another thing I do when I talk about speeches, I consider speeches, somewhat like a sandwich. Okay, you have two slices of bread, right? And then in the middle you have the body. So in this particular situation, you don't know what type of sandwich it is until you determine what's going to go in the middle. You don't know it's going to be a ham and cheese sandwich unless you've got ham and cheese. So now you know, so this is the type of sandwich I'm going to make. So the same thing applies to your speeches. You complete the body first, and then you can go back and you can work on your introduction. Now, the introduction has two parts. Intention-getting material and orienting material. You can relate a story. Personal experience. Some of you may decide you want to be a teacher because, teaching just happens to be something in your family. There's a family tradition. Or you had a particular teacher that just made a significant impact on your life. You might want to consider that. Or a movie you've seen, a book you've read that made an important impact. You might want to share that. A lot of you have maybe read the Harry Potter movies. Or you've seen the Medea movies. Okay, or read the Harry Potter books. I said read the Harry Potter movies. And this is okay too. Okay. Ask the question. Three questions. And make sure those questions focus on the topic and the audience. Trying to help you make sure there's a nice segue into the whole business there. Anticipate what the audience might want to know, and then address those. Nobody, Mr. Gutierrez, wants to be promised something and not get it. So think about what the questions are going to be, anticipate those based on the audience, and then address them. Then we have the whole situation of make a startling statement. That's basically, Mr. Guerrero, that's basically Mr. Vermeulen? Okay. Yeah, I can see the U now. Vermeulen. That's basically when you get into somebody's face. You make a startling statement. Say, for instance, I was to tell you, that the three of you potentially in the last week had, or possibly, an accessory to murder. Could have been an accessory to murder. And the people over there go, we're going to stay on this side of the room. Okay? But then I go back and I revisit it. And I tell you, if you got in the car with somebody, and he or she, who was the driver, elected not to put on their seatbelt, and you didn't say anything, potentially you could have been an accessory to murder. Because statistics show that most of those fatalities that happen with people who don't have on seatbelts. But let me kind of bring it down a little closer. Okay, suppose you got into the car, and maybe see if this is more real for you. And you're driving along, and your phone rings. And what do? You pick it up and you answer it. And then some 18-wheeler comes across there, and you're gone. They're singing, "Nearer, my God, to thee." Oh, you should have left that texting alone. But if you're in the car, and you got your cell phone on, or somebody is driving, and they answer it, and you don't say anything, then it goes back to the whole idea. Potentially, you could have been an accessory to murder. But the whole idea is, you bring that in, Mr. Roddy, as a way of introducing your topic. You bring it in order to excite them. Says, what the heck is he talking about? I heard about that Dr. Wortham. He's probably on something. I'm not. But anyway. Okay. All right. So, we talk about that. Then you have use a quote. That's a nice thing to do. But keep them short. And again, remember, Ms. Beavis, we want to hear from you. We don't want a whole bunch of other people's stuff. Okay? Then we have down here arouse curiosity. Know what interests your audience, and treat your audience with something interesting. A new take on something old. The thing I share here is my oldest son used to go to Kitty Hawk a long time ago. Okay, and one time he came home and he was talking about his math teacher. And the comment he made, he says, Mr. So-and-so is so gay. Now that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me about people, their sexual orientation. But this is our son. And so his mom and I were kind of looking at each other and we thought, what should we do? Should we go and talk to the principal? Should I go and talk to Mr. So-and-so? Hopefully he won't hit on me. But then about the time we got, and we were thinking, then my son defined gay for him. And what was his definition? Stupid. Lame. Boring. When he said that, we go, oh, okay. But the idea is, sometimes you can bring stuff into the whole business and say, intrigue your audience with a different take on something old. Provide a visual aid. I'm not sure if Mr. Langford wants you to have a visual aid, but make sure the visual aid you choose to use, has something to do with what you're talking about. It suits the audience and make sure it's relevant. Then we have give an incentive to listen. Offer reward. You want to be able to retire at 30 as a millionaire? Start your own business. Okay? And I'm going to tell you how to do that. Do I have your attention? I think I do. One of the things I do with my students is, you want to know how to make an A in my class? By the time it's over, I will guarantee you, if you do what I tell you to do, you can make an A. And that's offering reward. Or you also have an idea of making original. And that's what a lot of students kind of, I wouldn't say fall by the wayside, but they don't take into account. You have the capability of doing it and making it original. And one of the things I encourage my students to think about is that when you start your presentation, think about having your audience to close their eyes. At the beginning. Now, what can you do if your eyes are, if the audience's eyes are closed? What can you do as a speaker?
Be loud.
You can be loud. What else? What? Descriptive. Okay. What else can you do?
Bang on their desk.
Bang on their desk. Their eyes are closed. And it's not like in church. If their eyes are really closed.
Call them.
What can you do?
Call them.
Yeah, and what else can you do?
Read.
What reference your introduction? What?
You can read off.
That's right. You can read your introduction. It can sound so polished. They don't know because they're sitting there with their eyes closed. Now, keep in mind, Miss Mayfield, if you decide, is it Mayfield? Yeah, okay. If you decide to tell them to close their eyes, what do you have to remember to do?
Tell them to open them.
That's right. Exactly right, Ms. Cantrill. And some of you will forget. I know, because I teach this. And invariably there, and you students are so good. You listen to your classmates. And someone says, well, close your eyes. And so by the time they're done, it says, wake up now. And the speech is over. Because they didn't tell them to open their eyes. He said, okay. All right? So keep that in mind. Now, oriented material. We're talking about two parts of your introduction. You have attention-getting material, which we've taught. You can use either one of these particular ideas you might want to use. Now you have oriented material. And here, you want to preview the body of the speech. Okay? You want to preview the body of the speech. That's where you state the central idea. You state the main point. That's where your three key points come into play. Alright? Then, in addition to that, give background information. Expand on your history. Now, I give various presentations all over the country on fatherhood, and paternal and the importance of paternal involvement. So, at the get-go, as we sometimes use it, what do you think I feel is important that they know about me? I'm talking about fatherhood. I'm talking about the importance of paternal involvement in the education of their children. What do you think I feel is important that they know about me? That I'm a father. Not only that I'm a father of boys, which is totally different than being a father of girls. Also, I'm a father of teenage boys. And then invariably, I will have people say, oh, you poor thing. And they start praying for me right there, Alright? So it's very important that they know from the beginning. Also, one of the things I do, I will give a little background information. Like, I write a dance column. I got my doctorate up at UT specifically focusing on this particular issue. That's why kind of established credibility. And then it has something like use dissonance, and that has to do with more with your persuasive speeches. Now, how you can make your introductions interesting? We're going to talk